My next guest is a Waterford actress who has warmed our hearts hosting Eurovision, broken our hearts in the Oscar-nominated, and Cailín Ciúin and is back on our screens with her first hosting gig in over 25 years. Would you please welcome back to the Late Late Show the brilliant Carrie Crowley? There you go. Lovely to have you here. Brilliant to have you back on the Late Late. I believe this is you've completed the set. I believe you've been on the show with every host.
I believe so.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that it's all gone downhill. So it's something to be on the show for so long as a guest. We have a little clip of you from the show back then. Can you tell us what you think that first appearance might have been?
I think it was with a band from Waterford.
It was with a band.
And we were called Miss Brown to You.
Yes.
And it was 3 women.
It was, yes.
And Gay was hosting.
And you guys were magnificent.
And we were very naive.
I think everything up until that last bit is true. You were absolutely brilliant. Check this out. This is so good.
Just rock me until I go to sleep in your arms, and to dream of your charms while lost in somebody. Rock me to sleep. Yo.
Yeah. So good.
That was the late 80s.
Okay, that was the late 80s.
Yeah.
It's, I mean...
So it's a while ago.
It's been a while ago, and what a journey, the Late Late to the Oscars, and back here again. Gabriel, I know you're a fan of this woman's work. She was magnificent in Cailín Ciúin.
Cailín, yeah.
It, for a lot of people, I remember seeing this in the Washington, D.C. Film Festival. And there was a huge auditorium full of people, and at the end of it, there wasn't a dry eye in the house and everybody was on their feet. I mean, what was it about that film that just touched so many people around the world?
It's hard to say exactly what it was, but I think there was a simplicity in the telling of the story. There was no fuss, there was no, oh, we're going to cut. People only have a 3-second attention span. We're going to cut from this to this to this. Nothing cut. You stayed in the room with whoever was in the room at the time, or outside with whoever was outside at the time. It was very beautiful. But also, I thought in the beginning that Irish people loved it because it reminded them of their relationship with Ireland and their relationship with relatives in the country. And I thought it was a very specific Irish thing. But then you realised it went to Japan. It went all around the world, and everywhere it went, people identified with it in some way. So there was a very specific story in it that seemed to work regardless of your heritage or where you were living or your language. And I think we all felt, oh God, who'll watch a film in the Irish language? They lapped it up. And the really interesting thing to me was the amount of people that I met who said, oh my God, I thought I'd forgotten all my Irish. I understood your film. Like that people came and they understood it. It had subtitles, but they found themselves actually getting it on the ear and knowing exactly what was happening.
It seems to me that movie, you know, there is a huge revival now in the language. If you listen to President Connolly and her speech in her inauguration, yep. And, you know, your movie, you know, seems to have been at the start of that revival. How does that feel?
It feels amazing if it was connected in some way with the revival, but maybe the revival was just meant to happen anyway. Maybe it was just lying dormant, hoping that somebody would just crack that little shell on it and say, come on, come out. Everybody, and I say this to people all the time, and I think my friends are sick of me saying it, we all have Irish, that's owning. So just let it out. Every now and again, it doesn't have to be correct, it doesn't have to be perfect.
This is what Imelda May... Yeah, we had Imelda May on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying exactly the same thing. It doesn't have to be perfect, but Just give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go and have a conversation with somebody. And you know, there are all these pop-up Gaeltachts and pop-up kind of Irish nights that you can go to anywhere around Ireland, and everybody in that space on that particular night will want to try their Irish. I've been in the Gaeltacht in Donegal, and it's Idris Gael, so it's for adults. And I've been at a table with a Japanese person, a French person, an Irish person, somebody from Canada, and a German guy who was our host that particular night. And the language of the table was Pidgin Irish. Wow. That was the language
and
used.
Everybody got through and everybody communicated.
Even though everybody probably had English if they had chosen to use it, no, Pidgin Irish. They were there to learn Irish.
What was it like? How exciting was it to take an Irish language movie and go all the way to the Oscars and walk up that red carpet? I mean, that must have just been
it was
a blast.
Kind of crazy. It was a bit crazy.
Yeah, how crazy?
Just really crazy that we were going there, that we were on a flight from Dublin Airport, that like Aer Lingus threw out red carpets and stuff. It was everybody got on the journey. So there was a lot of fun attached. But a lot of it was like, come on, we're going to the Oscars with an Irish language film. So in fact, I think everybody was really heartened by that idea that it was a small little film made for very little money during COVID, and it was made in the Irish language. Who couldn't love that idea, that it was suddenly going to LA?
I mean, you've done loads of these red carpets, Gabriel. I know you're a huge fan of the award and red carpet experience.
I know what you mean, Carrie. It's this surreal feeling that you're between two worlds in a way. This is happening, and yet you're inside your head thinking, this is another reality in here. But I've always felt, honestly, a little self-conscious in those things. I've never quite felt comfortable in it. And I have to say, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I always feel faintly embarrassed when they say to girls, can you twirl around and give us a look at your dress?
Yeah.
Like, they'll never say to a man, twirl around and let's see your tuxedo. They'll never
Twirl around there, Gabriel, and let's give us a look.
Yeah, but I think the excitement, it's almost like a chemical thing. You step out of a car and there's just banks and banks of people and photographers, and there's a part of you that just wants to run away.
I would totally agree. And I'm not into that whole kind of big smile on the red carpet. I hated that side of it.
Yeah.
And I ended up having nightmares when I came home. I would wake in the morning and go, where do I have to be today and what do I have to wear? What am I meant to be saying today about our business or about our film? So it was really confusing. And in some ways, the best night we had was the night before a day off, our only day off where we weren't working. Because you are working when you're at all these things.
So you could have a bit of crack.
You're shaking hands. We had the best of crack. And then the next day, myself and Ross went for a swim. We went out to Venice Beach and just had a really ordinary day. And that was so lovely. Because the rest of the time, you're at everybody's beck and call, and you have to do it nicely, if you can.
You're back on our screens, hosting for the first time in a very long time. The show's called Buildings Bio on TG Cahir. Tell us a wee bit about that.
OK, Buildings Bio. I never thought I would present anything on television again. And then Evan Chamberlain, who is a producer and director and a great individual, he got in touch with me and he came. We spent a lot of time in Leitrim, so he came up to Leitrim and we sat and talked about it. And he said, this is about communities and buildings in various communities around the country that have fallen asunder. And one of them in Macroom was a theatre that had been razed to the ground. So you're looking at all the scar tissue of a building that had been a community building. And the idea was that over a period of time, which turned out to be 3 years, we would go and watch these buildings from their kind of desecrated state to the full repair and see if it worked, if they were bio, if they were alive again.
We have a little clip. We got a little clip. Here it is.
Sa trás seo, landfar, cléchlú na bhurgan of seo, agus í dá a hallú, a chorú, agus a múnlú, Le ní a chuir in iúnt de héal agus do bhíonta phobal an lé inniu. Ag tomáint anúach an balte trí forracha folamh a athrú ina buildings bio.
We've just seen you in the Walsh Sisters.
Mammy.
Mammy. Big love for Mammy. Daddy played by Aidan Quinn, who Gabriel knows well. How much fun was that?
That was a lot of fun. And it was actually, we really started to feel like family. And Aidan's a dote. Like anyone who knows him would just say he's a total honey. Yeah. And then we had our 5 daughters. Each, like they were so different, but in the storyline, they each have their own issues to deal with. And we, as their parents, have to try and guide them through everything that happens. But Mammy's a total article. Like, but the funny thing was the amount of guys who came to me and said, "Oh, you are my mother." And you think, okay, she exists. She is. That.
It's the Irish version of Star Wars. You are my mother.
Yeah, but it happened quite a lot. Anyway, it was great to make. I loved it. And the girls, I don't have children, but Mother's Day rolled round while we were filming. And they gave me a present for Mother's Day, which was the sweetest present.
Wow. Okay.
And it's a current clock, so you can see the times that the tide is going to be in the area that you swim. And you set it with the moon. But my girls, our girls, gave me that for Mother's Day. Wasn't that just really nice?
Wow.
And you can see Carrie, myself and Gabriel at the 40-foot tomorrow. Carrie, thank you so much.